Okay, so this is a very quick video while the kids are running around because I need it prepped for tonight. So this is just how to base and prime your models ready for painting. So if you're using the pack bases, all you need to do is use the plastic glue and make sure you're getting the correct base size, because when you're playing, the base sizes make a big difference. So you can see this is the one I built yesterday, and it'll tell you the base size here. So it's the 40mm, it's the bigger base. Okay, I am, however, not using those today. It's the first time I've done this, so I'm going to do something different. Now I'm going to use resin 3D printer that I bought off eBay. So I can't use the plastic glue, that won't work. So I'm going to put that to one side and the bases to one side. I need to use super glue. So a little bit of research online this morning said that Gorilla super glue gel works really well, and I've got some kicking around. It's quite old, so let's hope that it works. You can see here. And I've got a base that I think it's going to fit on. So these are the 3D printed bases you can see here that I got, and I need the 40mm base, so it's the correct size. I've already checked. Right, so a little bit of super glue gel on here. Okay, so before we go outside, we're just kind of going to get everything set up. These are the range of primers I use. This was my very first primer that I used on the Tyranids that I showed you with the coconut shell in episode 1. This one is ones I used for the Empress Children with the large amounts of silver blushing. You can see that's that. This I've used for pretty much everything else, and that's pretty much empty. But because I'm doing lighter colour scheme now with greens for Dark Angels, I've got some grey Seer and some Wraith Bone that I'm going to be using, and you can hear these are full. So again, what we're going to do before we go outside is just get a long neck bottle. This is one I've used and have kept for, well, a year, been using it, and some blue tack. That's what we're going to do, and you need to attach that using the blue tack to the end as firmly as you can. So I'm going to do that when I go outside, and I'm going to be priming today with probably Wraith Bone. Okay, so got it attached to the top of the bottle. The rattle can, if you hold it too close, is going to get too much paint on it, so you want to hold it quite far away. You want to approach it and turn and spray from sort of a 12-inch ruler's distance and try and get a good coating. What you don't want to do is get rid of any of the fine detail. You also want to make sure, it does say on the back to shake it for 2 minutes. Don't skimp on that. So I have shaken this before I've done the video. So let's have a go at doing this. And again, approaching it from different angles. I don't want to get rid of any of the details. Turning it gradually. Okay, so just at the very end, we can have a look at the final outcome. Whatever you do, wait for this to dry. It will maybe tacky for a while, but I have let it dry for a while now. So I'm just going to take it off the base. Okay, so there we can see the original. And we can sort of see the different ways different primers are going to react. So here we can kind of, it's quite a warm, nice white. So when we kind of paint over that, you'll see some of that coming through depending on the paint you use. So we'll talk about that later. Grey Seer, a little bit harsher, but again, kind of makes the model stand out quite well. Things like the lighter colours are really good for kind of contrast painting. If you're a beginner, I always thought this was a bit of a strange thing to say, but actually black works really well, because if you miss any areas, it just looks like shading. So if you're, if you're still getting used to kind of the finer details on the brushes, black's quite a nice thing to kind of prime with and then work over the top. Or if you're going to use like an airbrush or anything like that, I found that the darker coloured kind of primers work quite nicely. Then when you're applying the airbrush over the top to kind of create your layers, then the shadows automatically come out. So it's worth thinking about when you're going. But ultimately, when you first start painting, just give it a go, and you'll learn as you go along. I've certainly found that at times I found black primers were my favourite, and others I found that Wraith Bone was my favourite. So you can see today we've got this different base that I've tried, so I'm looking forward to painting this tonight. Okay, thanks.